Arkansas loses a close one to Michigan State, 69-66. Um, what a great game, man. But it leaves you with so many questions. Is this the greatest team that Coach Cal has ever put together? Can the freshmen truly live up to the hype? Can the freshmen really lead the way for this Arkansas team? Was this a bad loss or one of those losses where it's like it can leave you a little bit encouraged as to what this team can be when it comes March? Um, is this team going to have a problem rebounding the ball again? Is this team going to have a problem shooting the ball again? Can we hang our hat on the defensive end and have that carry over in games for us sometimes when our offense struggles? There were so many things that this loss taught me. I think, but the thing is, there were more good things that I pulled from this game than so much bad things. Right now, granted, I did have some key points and things that I make sure I want to mention today during this video. But anybody that knows me and knows about this platform knows that I am a Laker lover and I'm an Arkansas Razorback lover when it comes to basketball. And the season is officially underway. We had a really, really big matchup again against Michigan State, and we got some really big games coming up. And I think this was just one of the first of many tests that we have coming our way. I'm really looking forward personally to that Duke game. But this Michigan State game was damn good, man. And despite us playing like complete shit in a lot of ways, for the most part, we had some great glimpses, but we played like shit overall. You still walk out of there with only a 3-point loss with a chance to win several times, right? If Acuff doesn't foul and put what's his name, the point guard over there from Michigan State, you don't put him at the line to shoot three, right? So late in the shot clock, this might be a totally different situation we're talking about, right? So many good things you can take away from it, but so many things that had you just kind of like, right? Just kind of irritated. But I want to hop right into this, man. So the first question I really want to get into, is this a bad loss? Or is this a loss that still proves that this team can win at a high level when it comes March? I don't think this was a bad loss. I just think there were too many instances within the game where we just gave them too many chances to be successful, right? Whether that was from the rebounding aspect, whether it was our poor shooting, whether it was the dumb fouls, whether it was the turnovers, whether it was us not being able to make shots, whether it was us big guys, like the guys we were relying on to step up and do great things for us, just couldn't do it. But I think it was also one of those great games where you can learn so much from it. Go back and watch the film. Go back and see the things that you struggle with and that you could do better. And again, hell, come just this late December, this team can be a totally different animal from getting one of those early type of scars and losses on your resume. Playing a top team like that, a Coach Izzo-led team, which you know is going to be a smart team, a tough team, and a team that's going to make you earn it, right, and work for it. I don't think it was a bad loss. I think it was a great lesson for this team, in all honesty. And not one of those losses that has me worried. Because, again, we played like complete shit and still walked out of there with a chance to win. And so what I will say about this team is that in recent past, especially with Arkansas teams, it always feels like an uphill battle, right? It always feels like we dig ourselves in holes that are too deep to overcome. And even when somebody may make a big shot or do certain things, it still used to feel like in certain instances like we still weren't going to win the game. And I honestly can say, even though we did put ourselves in a tough situation last night in a couple of instances, it still felt like we had a chance. It still felt like we were right there. You know what I mean? If a couple things went our way, if a couple calls went our way, if we didn't make a couple bonehead mistakes down the stretch, we walk out of there with a dub and a great early season win. So I think that's what it says, is that if we continue to grow, evolve, and learn from this, we're going to be a scary-ass team. We're going to be a scary-ass team because, in all honesty, our defense was actually really, really good. I think there were a lot of instances where when we needed stops, when we needed to really lock in defensively and we really needed to hang our hat on that end, we did what we needed to do. We held them, I think, scoreless at one point in the game for like 2 or 3 minutes when we went on an 8-0 run to make the game interested again. You know, Malik Thomas hit a big shot for us. He couldn't hit the back-to-back three. He couldn't get it, but he hit some big shots. And him even being able and willing to take those shots in such big moments says a lot about him, says a lot about Darius Acuff. But I will say this. there were a lot of instances in that game where I didn't expect, even though these are two star-studded freshmen, 5 stars, I get it. But I didn't expect those two to have the ball in their hand so much when you have such great upperclassmen like DJ Wagner, like Brazil, like Carter Knox, like Billy Richmond. Like when you have those type of dudes, I expect Acuff and Malik Thomas to be a part of the system. But sometimes it feels like Malik Thomas and Acuff are the system, are the offensive firepower. Or, a game yesterday when Carter Knox was struggling offensively, Billy Richmond didn't give you a whole lot. TB was in foul trouble. Like when you're dealing with that, it just felt like, yeah, Acuff and Malik Thomas just running the show, and that's okay, right? They deserve that. I think they're that type of talent. I'm not doubting that, but at the same time, there were some instances in that game I was like, wow, when you got the type of upperclassmen and type of team we got and the depth we got, even with them bigs we got with Pringle and Ewan, you would think that we would spread the wealth a little bit more, right? Find ways to spread the wealth a little bit more. And again, this is not judging. This is not me hopping off my team, or this is not me saying I don't believe in them anymore. This is just saying early on, that's what I'm noticing in these first couple of games is that, as great as scorers and great as ball players that those two freshmen are, which are probably going to be top lottery picks. We know that. I think there is a lot of times when sometimes we can get the ball out their hands and spread the wealth around a little bit more. Get Carter Knox going. Run some stuff for Billy Richmond. Run some stuff for TB. Again, despite him being in foul trouble yesterday. And that's another thing. I knew TB was important to this team because he's been important to every Arkansas team, except that one weird year when he was with Muss and he didn't play a lot and he was dealing with different stuff. But TB has always been important for this Arkansas team. But I think there's no year more important where he's more important to this team than this year. And I think that became evident when he sat down with his 3 fouls and 4 fouls and so on and so forth. And now you're fucking up his rhythm of the game. He can't get a feel for the game. He can't be a certain level of aggressive because of the fact that he's dealing with the foul trouble and so on and so forth. You take away our lob threat. You take away our outside shooting and a big man. You take away the elusiveness in the way he moves. And in a world of basketball now where wings and long rangy guys that can do guard-like things is a super, super, super hot thing, I think TB is going to be ultimately important for us to have a deep, deep playoff run this year. And I think that Izzo and his team realized that, which is why they were so aggressive with him, why they went at him so much, why they tried to get him in foul trouble, because I think they understood that if we can get Trevon Brazile out of the way, or at least where he struggles and make his life hard offensively and defensively, this Arkansas team can look a little bit different. And I'll be honest, we did. We did look a little bit different at times, a little bit stagnant, took a little bit of our athleticism away, our ability to run the floor, his ability to block shots, and protect the paint, his ability to guard 1 through 5, right? And I think it became even more evident with a dude like Cam Ward on the other side of the ball for Michigan State that was hooping, right? Carter Knox ended up on him a lot of the time, and it looked like Cam Ward had a few inches on him, and kept putting him in the post on Carter Knox, and Carter Knox did the best he could. But I'm wondering, would that same thing happen if Trevon Brazile was in the game? I don't think so. I don't think Cam Ward goes for almost 20 points and 10 rebounds. I don't think that happens. I don't think that we get out-rebounded. They grab 19 offensive rebounds and for 18 points, and we lose by 3. I don't think that happens. They shot 1 for 14 from the 3. Right? So it's not like they was in a whole ton of outside shots. They were killing us in the paint. They just kept getting to the paint relentlessly. They kept getting Cohen. What's the kid's name, man? The high flyer from Michigan State. I'm drawing a blank, right? I think it's Carr. I want to say his name is Carr. Is his first name? Okay. The high flyer from Michigan State. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Like, he's getting to the paint at will, dunking all over us, getting and ones, right? He came out the game very aggressive. So it almost kind of baffled me because I'm like, if we would have just been able to make that adjustment, I think we walk out of it. I tweeted this. I said, we figure out how to stop them from getting to the paint when they want. We win this game by 15 or 20 points easily. We rebound the basketball. We win this game by 15 to 20 points easily because our perimeter defense was great. We had their starting point guard in hell. Yeah, he had 9, 10 assists, but he had 4 or 5 turnovers too, right? And he was like 0 for 7, 0 for 8 from the field. So I think we did a damn good job perimeter defense-wise for the most part, but it was the lack of communication on like a couple of those baseline out of bound plays. It was a couple times where we got caught up on the switch. We weren't switching fast enough, or we weren't communicating the switch. We weren't communicating defensively at all sometimes. And I think that led to them getting some really easy baskets right at the rim, getting easy putbacks. And I'm just like, we clean that up. It's a different game. But then I also have to say on the other side, Michigan State's defense was really fucking good because we shot over 50% from the field in the first half, but we come out in the second half and we shoot 28.6%, right? Malik Thomas couldn't get any going from deep. Acuff really couldn't hit many shots from deep. Again, Brazil, one of the other shooters that I trust for, especially as a big man, he couldn't play a whole lot. And they really looked at that team and said that same depth that we really believe we have, I think they really messed up the rhythm of that and put us in a position where we had to rely so heavily on our freshmen that when it got down to the end of the game and the ball was in our freshmen's hand, they made freshmen-like mistakes. The weird thing where Malik Thomas lost the ball, and I think it looked like he tried to throw a lob at the last minute, but then the big guy from Michigan State made a great play of pushing Ewan out of the play, so it turned into a turnover. Or when Acuff lost the ball when he tried to go for the scoop layup at the end, or him jumping into the player, fouling them, putting them on the line for 3. Just those type of weird things, and we still had a chance to win that game. And so I think one of the biggest takeaways for me and the biggest point that I want to drive home is that we're still going to be damn good despite these mistakes. But I would be interested to see how we're going to improve our interior defense, our rebounding, and how can we spread the wealth around a little bit more offensively where you don't put such a burden on these freshmen that are still figuring out themselves as well. They're great. They're star-studded. We know that. We know they can carry us at times. But you also have some other dudes over there that are really fucking good, and we got to figure out how to get all of them going too. Because we're so much better when Trevon Brazile is giving you what he gives you. We're so much better when Carter Knox is being himself. We're so much better. We're so much deeper. Right? We're so much harder to beat. I'm a little worried about us interior-wise when it comes to our bigs. Not because our bigs aren't capable, but at times it felt like we were a little thin up top. It felt like, man, maybe we should have added one more big guy with a little more size on him and strength on him. You know what I mean? But then again, you got 3 of them. They all essentially were just in foul trouble. And they were they were putting so much pressure on the rim. We just couldn't stop fucking fouling. And that just was very frustrating and very hard to deal with, if I'm being honest with you. But overall, again, I think, we have a lot to be encouraged about. We have a lot to be excited about. I think this team is going to win a lot of fucking games in the SEC. But yeah, play like shit, and we still had a chance to win. Our defense is very important, very good. I think it's going to be an end we hang our hat on, and we're going to stop a lot of teams in the half court. I think Trevan Brazil is set to also be a lottery pick and has an important and vital role to this team. It would look totally different without him. I really, really hope we can figure out our interior. Our freshmen are great, but I don't think they need to be the whole nucleus of the offense, which sometimes it feels like they are. I hope we don't have another team where we leave. We're going to have this great shooting, and as the season goes on, we realize we're really a shit shooting team. I hope that doesn't happen again. And have those highs and lows like we did from the first half to the second half. And last but not least, man, I hope we don't become that team where we get out rebounded almost every day, or the games we end up losing, even games we shouldn't lose, is because we get out rebounded and not hustled and not worked on the glass, which I think was a vital part as to why we lost a lot of games we shouldn't have lost last year, if I'm being honest with you. So those are just some of my biggest things and what I've learned from this first game against Michigan State, man. And I'm excited that, these games we got coming up. We playing every team that was in the Elite Eight from last year. So we got some damn good games ahead of us, and a lot of chances to redeem ourselves and prove ourselves as one of the top teams. But I also don't think this is we should walk away from this and this Arkansas team sucks because you're crazy. I think we're still going to be damn good and easily can be a Final Four team. We just got to keep clicking, keep working. And this is just an early test, man, and it could have went either way. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Skybox Conversations. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video. Would love to hear your thoughts if you're an Arkansas fan, if you're a college basketball fan in general. Would love to hear what your thoughts are. You know how much I love y'all, man. And I'll catch y'all on the next episode of Skybox Conversations. All right? Peace. I'll see y'all later. You.